We're at Alton Station. We're week 3 into a 8-week repair programme, repair and maintenance of the station master's house and the waiting room. We're on site with a specialist conservator who is looking at repairing and restoring the Minton floor. The Minton floor is probably the main conservation element that we're doing on this particular project.
Hello, my name is Lesley Durbin and I am Senior Conservator for Jackfield Conservation Studio. I specialise in tile conservation, so that's architectural tile schemes. I was engaged by the Landmark Trust to come here to Alton Station, initially to look at their tiled scheme on the floor, which is a Minton geometric.
So when I was putting together the schedule of work, the main problem was to find the right people to do the work. You know, it's not somebody you can find on the internet on a Google search. You need to find the right people. We sourced the manufacturer of the tiles, a guy called Richard Wilshaw. Richard is based locally in Stoke. The tiles have been manufactured following lots of consultation, lots of samples, lots of colour matching. It's quite a tricky undertaking. We're quite happy that we've got the right colour match, the same processes to make the tiles. So from a historic conservation point of view, I think we're treating this in the most correct way. So the tile supplier is very passionate in what he does. He's the right person for the job. We're very, very, very pleased with the product that he's produced for us. It's using the same processes that the original Minton tiles were used. It's called dust pressing. Our approach is minimal intervention. So instead of taking up the whole floor and replacing with new, we identified the areas that were damaged and they've been taken up and replaced. And the whole thing should knit together seamlessly. And the trick with conservation is it should look like nothing has happened really. You shouldn't be able to tell that work has gone on. You can walk into the space and it just looks like it always has, which is a very good sign of conservation.
So we're just entering the firing line. This is in the building Wilshaw Mill in Stoke-on-Trent. I started the business up in 2000. So basically I've got 7 of the Bolton's presses. These particular presses were they used to be the old fly press, and then William Bolton in 1913 designed a friction system on them so as they could be powered up and down. So they could be powered up and down without any strenuous work to swing the bars round. So they are a very, very good press. They're very hard wearing and they'll just go forever basically. So this is what we manufacture most of the restoration work and reproduction tiles on. And the restoration work, the tiles that at Alton Station would have been made on the same machines, exactly the same machines. The building, Wilshaw Mill, that the firing line's in, was owned originally by Minton and Josiah Wedgeworth's son. So the tiles we're making for Alton Station might easily and probably were manufactured in this building on this footprint. I'll take you over to this press here. And this is the green ones. Again, it's the same kind of tool in the same situation. Stevie's going to come over now and demonstrate to make the green diamond shaped tile. So basically he's filling it up again with a granulate, just a different colour. The tooling that we've had made, this is a temporary tooling. It isn't as strong as the other tooling, but it'll do the job for Alton Station. So we've had to have them engineering done. He's pressed the tile out, and there's the border tile for Alton Station. So that goes on the drying batt. When he's made 3 stacks of 7, it goes on the batt, and then it's taken over here and it's put on a drying rack. They just stand on the rack row after row after row after row, and then the trolley's taken over to the main production kiln, which is the gas kiln. So that's the process of manufacturing the tiles for Alton Station.
If we're looking at conservation, which is the ethos which is firmly at the heart of the Landmark Trust, we would look at really only replacing about 20% of damaged tiles, and these would be tiles which are irreparable or so actually cannot be used again. So the first thing which I noticed when I walked in was that there was a wonderful sort of historic configuration of where the damage occurred. So the main damage of wear and what we call dishing, which is where tiles are worn away, was in the front entrance of the waiting room, and then following across the floor to the ticket office, and then directly a tread area, worn tread area, which moved to the fireplace. So you could imagine in all times past, from 1880 through to 1960, that people would walk into the waiting room, go straight to the ticket office, and then go and warm themselves by the coal fire.